Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to book club. It's early and I meant to send an email out, but I'll be honest, I was reading the book up until like a couple minutes ago.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. And then my desk hammock, because you didn't do another Cosmos video, did you?
No, I did not.
My hammock came, but it did not work because I have a crossbar and it goes right in your back. So
Oh, that stinks.
yeah.
That's a pain.
Hey, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
I don't know what you made the other day, Lisa, but it was delicious. I was like scrolling through Instagram and I was
Didn't you make like a Mexican chicken pot pie?
Yeah, it was like a skillet, right?
Yeah.
It looked really good.
Oh, that was so good.
Mm-hmm. To Colby Riggins. Hi, everyone. Leslie Ann, hello all. And Renee, hello. I'm surprised anyone showed up because I totally forgot to send out any reminders. I didn't even post anything in the Facebook group.
I did do an Instagram video reminding people about it, but that's about all I was able to do today.
That's helpful. Lisa, thank you. I did. I made a regular chicken pot pie and a Mexican pot pie. It's the Mexican pot pie that I would.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, that sounds fantastic.
You know, Lisa, you could always start a food blog.
Yes. I know I live for her pictures on Facebook. I'm like, what is she making now? I want to know.
Yeah, my ideal dream life is I would just have a baking blog and write books. And that would be it.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I was looking, there was this woman, Butternut's Bakery or something, Butternut, I don't know. She just does baking and she like keeps posting her income reports. So she's like making 6,000, then 8,000, then 10,000. And she's like, I quit my job and I just bake. And I was like,
that would be nice to like live a life of being like a cozy book reviewer. Yeah. And like that's all my job was to write, like maybe write a cozy and big dreams.
LOL. And I actually don't like cooking. What? Oh, see, Lisa, we could do the Lisa baking vlog.
Yes. Lisa and Lisa baking.
Yeah. Although I am too lazy to do a YouTube baking channel. Have you seen some of the YouTube baking channels?
I did a couple of cooking with cozies, and I think I did a couple, and people really, really liked them. It just takes a lot to set up the separate camera so that you can see what you're doing with your hands and then set up. I sort of did that in my vlog on Sunday with like my phone precariously sitting on the paper towel thing while I was also showing how I was making the peanut butter cookies.
Yeah.
That was the extent of my doing that.
Plus, I don't know if my kitchen isn't set up like a lot of people have those studio looking kitchens with the beautiful island, right?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Perfect picture knickknacks behind them. Yeah, I don't have that either.
Yeah, no.
So I would have to move.
Yeah, if you guys saw my blog, my kitchen's a hot mess express. Someone lives there and eats there every day, and it doesn't look picture perfect or anything like that at all.
Yeah, I would need to create a baking studio.
Yes, agreed.
Yep. Yeah. All right, so we are here today to talk about a book.
Yes, to talk about Kneaded to Death by Winnie Archer, who is also known as Melissa Bourbon. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about this book.
Cool. And I just finished it, so it's all fresh in my head.
Yes, I finished it probably like an hour ago.
Yeah. So why don't you guys tell us? Oh no, I'm not actually not that ambitious. Yeah, I'm lazy too, Lisa. So we'll just dream about it, talk about it.
There you go.
Why don't you guys let us know in the comments, like what you're for, like what out of 5 stars, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, what you would give this book.
Yeah.
And then we'll summarize the book, right? In case you didn't read it.
Yes. Yes.
So as usual, I have taken notes.
You've taken a plethora of notes. All of my notes are in my head.
Yeah. Basically, I called this the cheating book
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Everyone's cheating on everyone, and nobody's parents are alive.
Yes. Yes.
So, do you want me to start out?
Yeah, you can start out if you want
Okay. So this story is Kneaded to Death. And so the heroine is named Ivy Culpepper. She's a photographer, but she's also divorced. So she moved back home because her mother was hit in a hit and run. Nobody knows what happened. But she doesn't really seem to have a career or purpose or anything she's really doing in life. So it starts out with her going to a cooking class to learn how to cook bread, which is where it's kneaded to death. So she actually isn't a baker or cook or anything like that. However, for some reason, the cooking classes were really important to the story. So Olaya, I don't know if I'm saying that right. So Lise
I don't know.
owns the bakery with her two sisters, Consuelo and Martina. And then there's all these people. So I was confused. There were all these people, Jolie, Sally, and Becky are all in the baking class. Mm-hmm. And then Jackie comes in later. Now, just spoiler alert, because we're doing the whole thing anyway. Jackie is the mom of Jasmine, but she's also the secret mom of Jolie, mm-hmm. which we find out later. And she's the secret mom because of cheating. And so then there's like, I think there's a back end romance with Ivy and her high school sweetheart, Miguel, who I don't know why it's a big deal. So after high school, he left and joined the military. And so she was super sad about that. But I feel like, I don't know, when you're 18, you can't just stay at home and just date you need to go do something or
yeah, I think that what it was is that it was so sudden, like maybe it wasn't actually talked about. That's sort of the vibe that I got from like Ivy's perception was that he just upped and decided to go and join the military and left, but it wasn't like a, hey, this is what I plan on doing kind of thing. And he just left and broke her heart.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I feel like at 17 and 18, you don't make like the best decisions. And possibly with the way those military recruiters are, they're like, all right, we're going right now. Mm-hmm. Like, you're like, wait, I just signed. He's like, yes, you just signed that you would start like right now. So,
yeah, no, very much so. Yeah.
And then, okay, so then there's an antique store owned by Randy Russell and Gus Makers. Now, Gus used to be married to the woman who dies, which is Jackie. Yes. Jackie Makers, but they got divorced a year ago because of the secret daughter sending letters. And for some reason, the secret daughter sent a letter to the mom and the daughter, the official daughter. I don't know why. And so they were all upset. And so that's why they got the divorce. But nobody really knows that until like I think the second to last chapter you find out. And then, so in the meantime, you think maybe it is this guy, Buck Masterson, and his wife, Nanette. But because they run around town and I guess they're just nosy. I don't know why. Everyone seems to hate them.
So they hate them because of like the historical society. They are talking about, so basically they just barge into other people's homes. They barge into their backyards and where they're not actually allowed to be and try to tell other people what they can and cannot do with their house on the historical lane. And mm-hmm. So what I got from it was that, you know, Buck Masterson as the person who made himself the head of the historical society would turn people in for, you know, building something in their backyard, even though it wasn't actually touching the historical property. It reminded me a lot of, if you guys have ever watched Gilmore Girls and, oh my goodness, his name just made a blank. Gilmore Girls, there's this guy who also is the same. He always puts his nose in other people's businesses, and it's not for really the better. It's just trying to make himself all kind of pompous and things like that.
Got it. All right. So that's like a red herring. They're not really, neither of them are murderers. They're just kind of annoying. And then her brother and her dad still live in town. And so her brother, I don't think they even tell us what her brother does, do they?
No, they just said that he works a lot. They didn't actually dive deep into what her brother does.
Right. So her brother, I didn't think they tell us his name, Billy. So Billy is dating Emmeline, who is the deputy sheriff. So I like the change that there was a woman deputy sheriff.
Yes, I really enjoyed that.
Right. Instead of so it's her brother that ends up being the romantic interest. Her dad just works really late. He doesn't really seem to be involved a lot or at all in the plot. And then let's see what happens. Mrs. Branford, Penny Branford, is this 85-year-old kind of nosy woman as well. And she's annoyed with Buck. So she she just tells Ivy to start taking pictures of Buck so she can like catch him in the act of being, I guess, a jerk so they can get rid of him.
Yeah, they're trying to catch him breaking into another person's property, which they end up getting.
Yeah. He ends up breaking into Jackie's house, who's dead, and she took pictures of it. And then they see this mysterious figure upstairs in the dark later when they look at the pictures. But just in general, so then there's this weird side story, totally random, where Penny talks about how wonderful Jimmy is, her ex-husband. Well, it's her husband, but he's deceased. And then the owner of the baking place where the baking classes are, Olaya, is like, oh, I miss James. So James and Jimmy are the same guy because she had an affair with him. And so then there's this awkward moment where she's like, he loved me. And she's like, no, he loved me and you loved him. And it's just weird.
I don't know. So like part of me was confused about that. But I think that what really happened was I don't think that he physically cheated with Olaya. I don't think that he physically cheated with her. I think that somehow, and it might dive deeper into the second book, I want to know. I feel like somehow they really did have like sort of like a spiritual connection, but he never did anything with it because he did love his wife, Penny. And so it was sort of like, I loved Olaya and Penny so much. I loved their feistiness, and I loved how it showed sort of the tension between them. But then I loved how much Penny sort of was like, she straight up said, I should be the one hating you. You shouldn't be the one hating me. And I think that Olaya, I think she felt guilt for what she, like her feelings towards James, and then took that out on Penny because she felt guilty about it in herself. But then she also was mad because she never found another love in her life, kind of thing. So I think it's just a lot of tumultuous emotions and things like that. So I didn't actually mind that part so much.
Yeah, I guess I'm like very anti-cheating. So I feel like emotional cheating is worse than actual cheating because I'm a girl, maybe too girly.
Yes.
I don't know. So anyway, so moving on. So let's finish the end of the story. So she she also has this pug named Agatha that she, I guess, rescued. And then we go on to meet Deb Perlman, who owns the Smitten Kitchen. Or no, they talk about Deb Perlman. It's so random. They talk about Deb Perlman. She has a cookbook, but she was also murdered. But we never really solved that murder. We just mentioned that this cookbook writer was murdered. So maybe they'll bring that up in another book. And then we have Harold Rye. Oh, he's just mentioned. So there was this thing of envelopes that the first murder victim, which is Jackie, left at Penny's house. And so she's like, oh, I saved it. It was in the freezer and I didn't know what to do with it. And there are all these letters about Buck. Again, this is like the red herring about how no one liked him. And so she has that envelope. And then she also finds a picture later of, Buck breaking into someplace. So I don't even know what happens. All of a sudden, Ivy goes to Jasmine's house. Jasmine's the daughter of Jackie who was killed. And she like goes inside, Buck's outside, like Nanette are like yelling at her, trying to get in. And so for some reason she lets Ivy in. And then she somehow discovers that the car was the car that ran over her mom.
Yeah. So like there was a little bit more. So like when Ivy went to Jackie's house to help Olaya go through her things, she found a paper. A paper written by someone who seemed like a student, someone very angsty, someone very like angry. And that's when they went down the whole entire rabbit hole of, oh, Jackie ended up having a daughter out of, with cheating while her husband was away in the military. And they also went through, so there was the red herring of Buckmaster. Then there was also the red herring of Jolie, the daughter. And then that took Ivy to going and reading through her mom's old things and trying to figure out who this student could have been. At first, she thought it might have been Jolie's essay, but then she later finds that it is actually Jasmine's essay that she wrote. And she was writing about how she felt bad because she actually ran over the owner, Renee, from the other cuisine place that was a competition for her mom. She ran her over, crippled her, and forced, like, basically she's in a wheelchair now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Divine
so,
Divine Cuisine.
Yes, Divine Cuisine. That was the name of it. Thank you. And so they go through, and Ivy's trying to figure out what's going on. She finds a journal from her mom that has tons of notes in it. And one of the last things on the page was that she needed to talk to Jackie because of what happened. And what about Gus, which is Jackie's ex-husband. And then she looked at her mom's calendar because she was very studious in writing every place that she went. And it said that she was going to Divine Cuisine to talk to Renee, even though Divine Cuisine was closed, which is what triggered Ivy to go, why would my mom try to go to a closed cooking place when she seems to be happy with Jackie's cooking classes? So then she goes and finds out a little bit more. And then that's when she goes, I need to go talk to Jasmine, because it clicks in her head that Jasmine wrote the essay. And that's when she goes, and Buck and Nanette are like trying to break down the door and all of those things. And then I think later that night she goes to her baking class, and they're baking and everything, and Jolie's there, Sally, like the whole gang are there, and they decide Olaya has a visitor, and it ends up being Renee from Divine Cuisine, because she's going to be baking the bread for Divine Cuisine. And then that's when all hell broke loose. And I will say, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a decent book for the first book in the series. I am going to read the next book in the series because I love the relationship and dynamic between Penny and Ivy and Olaya, and I love all of that. I will say, I saw the Jasmine murder coming, like as her being the one who killed Ivy's mom and running over Renee. I did not see Renee's daughter coming. Did you see Renee's daughter coming as the one who had killed Jackie?
I think that's because she really didn't get a lot of page time in the story.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, in fact, I was like, wait, she's whose daughter?
Yes,
Like,
I was very confused at the end. And I think that that's what kind of like threw me for a loop, is I was like, okay, yeah, I can totally see Jasmine. I can see sort of the little clues that were left at the beginning of the story about Jasmine, her anger and things like that. Like, I thought that that was really well done building up to it. But when it came to, like, I don't even remember the daughter's name because she was
Becky. Becky.
She was talking about that, like that least amount. So I was I liked the twist. I thought that that was interesting, that the daughter was revenging her mother, and that's who killed Jackie. But it just sort of threw me for a loop because I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, I mean, technically she put her in the first chapter, but there were so many people in that baking class. I was like, who? What? And then there was that weird incident outside. So yeah, I mean, I would give this, I didn't bother me too much that I didn't know that Becky was Renee's daughter. I would still give it a 5 for the mystery, because it did, like, every time something new was found out, then it led you in a new direction. So I felt like that was good. But for the characters, and maybe it's because I'm so anti-cheating, I feel like I go to cozies for like that warm, touchy. I don't want there to be cheating. So for that, I gave it a 1, especially because I was just like, this is so contrived. Like, the mom has to be white. The ex-husband has to be black, so that the cheating, like, I guess, offspring that was given away was white. So, like, I don't know. It just felt, I didn't really like that part. And so the characters, the cheating, if there was no cheating, I would have given the whole thing a 5.
Yeah, no, I can 100% understand. Like, there's always those one things that like that trigger. Like, I have certain things that the moment it happens in a book, I don't care if it's the most if it's the most beautifully written, poetic, like gorgeous writing book in the world. But if this or this happens, I'm automatically turned off and I can't go forward in reading it, even if it was the bestseller of everything in the whole entire world. So. Yeah. I totally understand how that could be a trigger and be like, nope, you've just turned me off 100%. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, I think pretty much just fat shaming and cheating are the things I don't like in books.
Yeah. See, and I can't do fat shaming because I'm a curvy girl. And I also can't do like assault, like sexual assault.
Yeah.
If sexual assault is in anything at all, like a show, a movie, or anything, I literally get sick to my stomach and I have to stop whatever it is.
Yeah.
So,
I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. So what did you guys think? I have so many comments. We've just been going on and on. Okay. So someone said, Lysandra, I really enjoyed this book. Cool. Lisa, 2 stars. Brian, 5 stars. It was great. Leslie Ann, 3 stars. Stacy, hi everyone, 4 stars. Jacoby, 4 stars. Lysandra, 4 stars. I had to count the number. Renee, I finished the book the first week of December. I'm going to say 4 because my December has been a hot mess. Lysandra, I started the second book in the series today. Wow. I think those are all the scores. Renee, Taylor Deuce, I think.
Yeah, Taylor Dosey from that's who Buck
Gilmore Girls
reminded me of, was Taylor Dosey.
Okay. Ryan, yes, I remember him. Don't know his name. The guy that ran the grocery store. Taylor Dosey, that was his name. Ellen Morgan, hi ladies. Hello, Ellen. Miss Richards reads, hello. Renee, and these are the days of our lives. Yeah, the drama.
Yes.
Lisa, Renee, Karen, Mistletoe Murder, Lucy Stone, #1 by Leslie Meyer. I don't understand.
I don't understand that either.
All right. Good. Lysandra, I didn't see it being Renee's daughter either. Yeah. I didn't even know Renee had a daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she had mentioned that she had a daughter when Ivy went and talked to her, and she said that she was reopening her cuisine restaurant, right? She said that her daughter was good with numbers. Her son was going to be the head chef. Her husband was going to do something else. But that was the only time she mentioned her daughter. And she said her daughter was good with numbers, that she wasn't she wasn't a cook.
Right.
So that's why, like, I did not even put 2 and 2 together because it was so vastly, like, it didn't even dawn on me.
Yeah, I feel like they could have mentioned it, like, in the class as students were filing in, like, give them some context for each. In fact, at the beginning, the first chapter was just overall just confusing because there was no sort of point in time. Is it day? Is it night? What city are we in? She's just nervous about going into this thing. And then
I did feel her sadness at her mother's passing in the first chapter. Like, I felt it heavy on my heart. So I think that maybe that was more what Winnie or Melissa was trying to convey, is the sadness of, and trying to sort of fill in the gap of her mother not being in her life anymore.
Yeah. Although I feel like if she was that inquisitive, why didn't she try to solve her mom's murder like right away? Or I don't know.
I think that she thought that it was a freak accident, but then as the things and the clues kept happening, she was like, my mom was a part of this.
Yeah. I don't know what this is. Is this the same person? I think she's just randomly putting people's books in to try to promote them. We'll just skip those questions.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Oh, I liked how that tagged me as Lysandra Lily Grisales.
Oh, yes, because Renee's the character, and so it actually tagged Renee.
I don't know why people keep trying to push other people's book. This is very weird, but
I'm very confused.
Okay, Renee, this book seemed more soap opera than Cozy Me, which has its place, but it wasn't what I was hoping for going on. Yeah, see, Renee's like with me. Like, they like the mystery, but it was a little too just, I don't know, the cheating.
Yeah, I can see that.
Lysandra, Renee, Leslie Ann. It felt a little too info dumpy to me at times, and that twist felt like cheating so we couldn't solve it ourselves by pulling a character out of thin air. Yeah, I can see that. Lisa, too many characters, sad backstory with her mother being killed. I couldn't connect to the character's town or the story. Yeah, I felt like, one, I didn't even know what town they were in. It was supposed to be California. She just kept talking about how great the weather was, but they really weren't at the beach a lot, except one time she took the dog out for a walk. And then, I don't know. I mean, the sad story about her mom, she seems sad, but they kept saying, oh, you're just like your mother. But it was kind of weird because we didn't really know anything about her mother.
Yeah. I think that they were saying mostly that she looked a lot like her mother, and then maybe her mannerisms. And then when they said that she was like a dog with a bone, like was just at it when it came to the mystery. That's how her mom was when she was in high school and different things like that. And that's why I always give most of the time, not always, but most of the time I give most first books in the series grace. And if I was able to finish it, and if I like a handful of the characters enough to want to know what happens to them next, then that's why I gave it a 4 stars, is because I was like, okay, there were some things that I was like, but that's always something in a first book in a series, is they're just now building the world. They're just now building the characters and sort of those kind of things. And so I'm excited to see what book 2 has in store.
Yeah. I'm with Lisa. I will just ask you later if it got better.
That's perfectly fine.
Renee, I do not want to see what this historic Tudor.
She does want to see.
I do want to see what this historic Tudor neighborhood looks like.
Right.
I didn't even notice that it was Tudor.
It looked.
Oh, there was that one time she was taking pictures.
It sounded so pretty.
Yeah. Jacoby, the first 2 chapters were a little confusing. Too many characters introduced at one time, but I like it. Yeah, the class. I think chapter 1 just was a fail with the class, and yeah, I don't know.
Well, and that early in a book, it's very hard to try and figure out who's important and who's not important. So I can see why the first chapter, because it was like a whole class of people you're trying to figure out. And so that's one of the reasons why I assumed that Becky wasn't really that important, because she was in the first chapter, but she didn't really seem as though she was that important. But now it makes me want to go, did she leave hints about Becky that I didn't realize? But then I'm like, no, I'm pretty observant when it comes to things like that. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. I'm just blocking those people. The weird
I don't understand. Like, I've read the Vicky Delaney Christmas series, but I'm very, very confused as to why they were putting them in here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Lisa says, it didn't make me want to go back to visit the characters, find out what happens in their lives, or revisit their lives. And that is perfectly fine. That's one of the things that I love about this book club, is the fact that we always read the first book in the series. And so you're going to either have ones that you absolutely love, or you're going to have ones that are like, meh, or you might have ones that you're just like, no, that's just not for me. And that is what I love about this book club, is that we all are so good at talking and hanging out with each other once a month that it's totally cool if, you don't like the book and I loved the book. We're still going to be able to talk about it and be super chill and still be, excited that another person loved the book. But then if you didn't, then that's okay. We're going on to a new book next month.
Yeah, I like that it forces me to try out new books that I probably wouldn't have tried. Otherwise, I would literally 100% only read baking cozies.
Yes,
forever.
Exactly.
Oh, do we want to talk more about this book before I move on?
No, I think that we're good. I think that we talked about it a lot. Lysandra does say, I want to see what happens between her and Miguel. I'm interested to find out why he left, and I loved the diverse cast and Hispanic influence. That is one thing that I did want to talk about. I freaking loved the fact that it had more diversity within the characters. The fact that her best friend, Emmeline, was African-American and her brother was white. That just made my heart extremely happy. I have mixed cousins, so they're half white and half black. And that's just how my life was, like, growing up. There is no, it's just normal to me. And so I love seeing that representation in a cozy, because it is kind of hard to find diverse cozy mysteries. I have a whole video on diverse cozy mysteries, but it took a lot of digging for me to find those out there and available. And so I do really agree with that. I loved the fact that, you know, Ivy was Caucasian, but Miguel is Hispanic. And it just, that made my heart happy. I really, really enjoyed that. And I think that Melissa's husband is Hispanic. So I think that that's one of the reasons why her name's Winnie Archer on here, but her name is Melissa Ivan. I fell in love with her other series, which is the Magical Dressmaking series. It's based in Texas. Love that series. There's 6 books in the series. But I had no idea that she wrote under Winnie Archer. And then she messaged me on Instagram and I was like, wait, you're Melissa Bourbon. And she's like, I am. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know you had other things. Super excited. So yeah, sorry, I'll get off my rant.
No, I think it's good. I think because there's been such a huge push for diversity this year, and trad books take so long to come out. I think we'll see more diversity. First of all, romance already got it. Like there's so many diverse books coming out next year. And I think especially a lot of own voices. And I think in 2 to 3 years, because I think they're trying to buy them now, then we'll see more diversity in cozies and more own voices.
Which I absolutely freaking love. And you guys know I will be 100% pushing those and reading those and just eating it all up.
Yep. Wait, I don't know which one we left off on.
This one.
Okay.
I did appreciate the multicultural character representation. We do need more of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
All right. Okay. So you guys hopefully voted on next month's book, which was, I'm pretty sure it's Crime and Poetry, right?
I think it's Crime and Poetry by Amanda Flower.
I'll check.
It was pretty high up there.
Yeah, one like in the first day. It's almost like whatever's winning the first like hour, it's like it's just gonna win. Because 36 votes for Crime and Poetry, 10 votes for Caught Dead-Handed.
Yes. Which is okay because I did not like Caught Dead-Handed.
You know, I haven't read Caught Dead-Handed and I did not like Crime and Poetry.
You did not? Yeah. Yeah, I read Caught Dead-Handed, and there was some things that I did not like at all about it.
Okay. So next month, I will be reading Caught Dead-Handed.
Yes.
Because I've already read Crime and Poetry.
And then we'll read Crime and Poetry and see what we think about that. Oh, Renee says, even Hallmark is getting more diverse. They had interracial and gay Christmas movies this year, which is absolutely wonderful. I agree. My sister is gay, and she knows how much I love how much I love Hallmark movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she screenshot it with me. She goes, I can actually watch it and like get into it with you. Can we watch this one too? And I'm like, yes, girl. We can totally watch the gay Hallmark. Yes, of course. And she was just so happy because there wasn't any representation for her in the Hallmark, and she loves cozy things like me.
Well, I also like too when they mix it up. Like it's like my biggest pet peeve, especially when you see those like insurance commercials or family commercials. It's like only Asians can be with Asians. Only Black people can be like. There's no intermixing at all. Like all the minorities are just staying with only each other. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of weird.
Oh, Lisa. So what are we reading next month? We are reading Crime and Poetry by Amanda Flower.
And then we'll go back to our normal schedule. So that you have like a month and a half to read that.
Yes.
And we have two book giveaways today.
We do.
So the first one is for someone who did a cozy flight. So I don't know how we're going to do this. How do we want to pick the cozy flight one? So this is the book, the Dublin book.
Yes. Let's do, I guess maybe 1 through 15.
We could. So they're not really in order of numbers. I guess I'll go through the Facebook feed and we'll see who liked the 15th. Okay. So, hey, Google, Give me a random number between 1 and 15. All right.
2.
Okay, it just told me. I won't have to show you. I was like, all right, so it's 2. So that's easy.
That's pretty easy.
Let's just go down here. So the first person who posted is Lisa Ashby. And the second cozy flight is Courtney.
I don't count.
And so the third cozy flight is Ellen Hodge Worgan. But she has to, but you have, here's the thing though, you have to be here.
She is. Ellen Worgan just said, I love Amanda Flower's book. So Ellen, are you still on here? Because if you're still on here, we will get you sent, what is it? What is it? I know it says something about Dublin.
It was Dublin. I don't know. It was something.
Yes. It looks freaking fantastic.
Dublin.
I have it on my Kindle right now.
Oh,
Dead in Dublin.
Dead in Dublin. That's what.
Dead in
Dublin
Dublin.
Driver mystery.
All right. So Ellen, email Lisa your address and she will get it to the publishing company and they will send you Dead in Dublin.
Now, Lisa, Ellen, if you are in the US, we'll mail you a physical paperback. And then if you're not, we will again send you the Mobi file.
Yes. All right. And I talked to Winnie Archer, the author of this series, and she said that she would send out the second book signed of this series. So, how do we want to do this?
Ask for, how about 1 through 25?
Yeah.
Maybe?
So 1 through 20, and we'll pick the 20th person, and then message me on Instagram with your mailing address so that I can send it to Melissa.
Hey, Google, give us a random number between 1 and 20.
$16.
1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hey, Jacoby Riggins, are you still here? Jacoby, are you still here?
Going once. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's a little delayed on the actual one. So, Jacoby, are you still here?
She said yes. I see yes on YouTube. So.
Yay! Okay, if you're following me on Instagram, you can just go to Courtagonist. Please send me your mailing address, and I will send it to the author to send you the second book in the series.
Oh, yay. 2 book giveaways.
I know.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it. What's everyone doing for Christmas or whatever you celebrate?
Yes. I am here at home. No big get-togethers. So like on Christmas Eve, Aaron's mom's coming over to give Alex and us our presents because his sister's staying in Oklahoma City due to COVID and everything. And then Christmas Day, like in the morning, is for Aaron, Alex, and I. And then Christmas evening, my parents and my sister are coming over to open presents and have breakfast for dinner and watch a Christmas movie.
I love breakfast for dinner.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, so Ben always spends Christmas with his mother. So I'm actually going to be alone this year, but I get to be with Lucky. And then I think my friends Camila and JC are coming over, and we are going to be watching Wonder Woman 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
not
nice.
very Christmassy, but
hey, however you need to stay cozy, and as long as you're having a good time, that's all that matters.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I think that we are good to go. We will see you all next month in 2021.
Oh, Lisa had plans. Family dinner, exchanging gifts. My husband, my parents, my $2 on Christmas Day. Yeah, we can't wait to see your food pictures, Lisa.
Yes, I have high expectations.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Oops.
Bye, guys. I hope you have a beautiful night.
Bye.